Hey, what is going on, everyone? Thank you all for watching my video today. And now there's some breaking news that just happened in the NFL. And this NFL offseason has been absolutely crazy. When I was, a week or two back, when I was like, I'm gonna make some videos about this NFL offseason, I really didn't expect to be making them as frequently as I have. I've had to make like five, six, seven already because there's just so many things going on. It really feels like an NBA offseason with all these transactions. But another big one went down today. The Kansas City Chiefs. This story really just emerged this morning and is already concluded by noon today or 1 o'clock. The Chiefs are trading superstar wide receiver to the Miami Dolphins, and they're getting a haul of picks back. The number 29 pick in this draft that the Dolphins have from the 49ers, along with a second round pick, a third round pick, a fourth round pick, a sixth round pick. They're all going to the Dolphins, or excuse me, they're all going to the Chiefs in exchange for Tyreek Hill, who signs a new 4-year deal with the Dolphins. He gets 72 million guaranteed, and I think over 120 million in total, possibly in total. And that makes him the highest paid annual wide receiver. Davante Adams signed a big time deal with the Raiders, but it was a longer deal. So annual salary, Hill is now the highest paid receiver in NFL history, which is crazy. And this story really comes down to that. It seems the Chiefs weren't willing to pay that salary for Hill, and it seems like something he was seeking. And all of a sudden, it went from the Chiefs we were all assuming the Chiefs are going to have their big three on offense: Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. That fearsome trio on offense was going to be back once again, and now that's over. That era of Chiefs football all of a sudden is over. And they made two Super Bowls, won one, made an AFC title game as well, and were part of that absolutely insane game against the Bills last year. Yeah, they made the AFC title game as well last year before losing to the Bengals. But I was not expecting this at all. At least with the Davante Adams situation, you kind of saw it coming because at first it seemed like the Packers wouldn't be able to re-sign him, but then the Packers, they did all the cap flexibility that was necessary to offer him that contract, but he still wanted to choose the Raiders. So that's why the Packers were able to franchise tag Davante Adams. By doing that, they were able to trade him and get a first-round pick and a second-rounder back for him instead of losing him to free agency for nothing. But Tyreek Hill wasn't a free agent. He's currently under contract. So this is a contract extension that goes beyond next season. And, I think that's why the Dolphins had to give up more to get him than the Packers got, because the Packers didn't have as much leverage as the Chiefs did in this situation. But the Dolphins, they get their man. And now this offense, I will say the Dolphins have had a hell of an offseason. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback coming in his third year. He's had a lot of ups and downs. Strange rookie year. Average season last year. I wouldn't say he lit the world on fire in any way, shape, or form. Brian Flores gets fired, and his lawsuit against the NFL is ongoing. There's a lot of complicated things in that situation, but I think everything the Dolphins have done in terms of a on-the-field aspect, if you take the Flores, Stephen Ross situations out of the equation, I think it's been perfect. Chris Greer, the GM, they go out and hire the new head coach, Mike McDaniel, the former 49ers offensive coordinator, and he's been, learning from Kyle Shanahan the past few years, and you can really already tell that the moves the Dolphins made this offseason coming into today was centered around that 49ers mindset of how they wanted to structure their offense. You got Tua, who I would say isn't too far off from Jimmy Garoppolo skill-wise right now, and he certainly has a higher ceiling because of what Tua did in college. So if he can get healthy, I think he certainly has the potential to be better than Jimmy. But you have a quarterback who's solid but isn't going to take up your whole cap space, and then you just build the offense around that guy, and it's worked wonders for the Niners. They made a Super Bowl, and they made another NFC title game last year. You look at the guys, the running back cut by committee, just like the Niners do, they're already doing it. Gaskin's on the team, but they signed former 49er Raheem Mostert to a 1-year deal. They signed Chase Edmonds to a 2-year deal, who I'm a big fan of Chase Edmonds. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be able to be an RB1 in the NFL. I think he's going to be pretty solid for this Dolphins team. They got these two gadget guys. Alec Ingold, the fullback from the Raiders. I see him having a big role in this team, just like Kyle Juszczyk has with the 49ers. I think he'll be a big part of this offense. Lynn Bowden, a former receiver, third-round pick receiver. The Raiders actually drafted him but traded him before he even played a game. The Dolphins picked him up, and they used him his rookie year as like a running back receiver hybrid. He was hurt last year throughout the entire season, and I'm not comparing him to Deebo Samuel. I wouldn't do anything like that. But who's to say, we don't know much about Lynn Bowden. He's still young. Who's to say he can't fulfill a Cordarrelle Patterson type role in the future? I think that his placement on this team is very intentional, and I anticipate him having a big role as well. But then when you get to the real receiver room, it's absolutely loaded now. You bring in Tyreek Hill, who's one of the best receivers in the league, easily the fastest, best deep threat in the NFL. Pair him with Jalen Waddle, who had almost 100 catches. Actually, he might have had 100. He either had 92 or 102 receptions last year. He was fantastic in his rookie year, and that was for a stagnant offense that wasn't great. They signed Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. He had a solid breakout year last year as the Cowboys wide receiver 3. Looked like he was set to be the wide receiver 2, but with Tyreek coming in, he'll stay in that number 3 role, but I think he'll have a solid season. Devontae Parker's still on this team, and we know from 2 years ago, he was arguably, I'd say, a top 15 receiver in football in 2019. We'll see what happens to him this coming season. He's had some injuries throughout his career besides that season. But they haven't cut him yet. They could cut him down the line and save some salary. It's possible because of the depth they have in this receiver room now. But if he stays on this team, that's yet another option. And even guys like Isaiah Ford and Albert Wilson, they're solid options if they're Albert Wilson's had a lot of injuries, but he's not a bad player. And Mike Gesicki at tight end, we know he's certainly a top 10 tight end in the NFL at the very least. This O-line just got a lot better. That was a big concern for the Dolphins in the past. But Terron Armstead, he's a Pro Bowl level tackle. They signed him to a big deal. They signed another former Cowboy, Connor Williams, to play guard. And the rest of this line, it's very young. You got guys like Liam Eichenberg, Solomon Kinley, Austin Jackson. All these guys are very unproven, haven't had a lot of success yet. But they're young, and if you're pairing them with a guy like Terron Armstead, who is certainly a good blocker, if you're pairing them with Mike McDaniel, who knows that type of offense, he can run the running offense that the Niners have. He's educated how to do that. I'm sure he's expecting this O-line to perform well. And when you look at the defense, it's been the strong suit of the Dolphins for the past few years, and I don't think it's any longer the strong suit because of this offensive turnaround, they still have a solid team here on defense. They re-signed Emmanuel Ogbah, their 2-time sack leader. He led the team in sacks over the past 2 seasons. He got a new contract for 4 years. He's locked up. Jerome Baker and Andrew Van Ginkel, very solid linebacker core right there. Raekwon Davis is developing as a solid run-stopping defensive tackle, and your secondary is really solid there too. Xavier Howard, who I think should have won the 2020 Defensive Player of the Year when he led the NFL in interceptions. He's a solid corner for sure, Pro Bowl level corner if he's playing to his potential. Byron Jones is still solid, and as your number 2 guy, he's one of the best number 2 corners in the NFL, I would say. Javon Holland had a terrific rookie year. We'll see if he keeps developing at safety. And even guys like Eric Rowe, Brandon Jones, that's solid safety depth as well on the team. Jason Sanders is a great kicker. This team's pretty loaded. I don't think like I said, the AFC, man, it's so deep, has so much talent. I would say on paper, when you're looking at the 15 best teams in the league, I'd say close to 10 of them probably are in that AFC. I don't know where the Dolphins necessarily stack up because even though they have a lot of talent, at the end of the day, this all hinges on Tua Tagovailoa. Can he make the steps to be a franchise quarterback or at least a quarterback on the level of Jimmy Garoppolo who can take it to a Super Bowl? And I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to be a Super Bowl level team, at least not next year. That AFC, as I've said, it's loaded. I just said it 5 seconds ago, honestly, but there's so much competition there. It's gonna just like the Raiders. Like I said with the Raiders when they traded for Devontae Adams, they're not necessarily a guaranteed playoff team. So the Chiefs, looking at the Chiefs side of this real fast, they lose Hill. Kind of like the Packers, they're going to have to address this in the draft or maybe sign a Julio Jones, trade for a Brandon Cooks, get one of these veteran receivers that are out there, or if not, you're going to have to invest during their draft. And they have the 29th pick now. This Dolphins pick. The Dolphins don't have their own pick because it's owed to the Eagles. So the Dolphins, the only downside for the Dolphins here is that they can't upgrade the O-line further because they no longer have their first or second round draft pick. So that might hurt them, but I think their Armstead signing helps on that front at the very least. And like I was saying for the Chiefs, besides Juju, who I don't think has been good in 3 years at all, so really I don't think they have any solid receivers on the team right now. Travis Kelce at tight end, of course, is generational talent. But receiving-wise, they're going to have to make an upgrade. The Packers are going to have to make an upgrade. So it'll be interesting to see if those two front offices get these, I'd say the top 2 quarterbacks in football, get them a real number 1 receiver. Because right now I don't think Allen Lazard and Mecole Hardman are cutting it, or Juju if you view it that way. So it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do because they're going to have to keep up with this AFC West arms race because you could argue they're the worst team now after this trade. I wouldn't say that because I think Pat Mahomes is just that great that he can make it work. I think they'll be at least a playoff team. They still got Kelce. They got a solid defense. But at the moment, you can make the argument that they're no longer a playoff lock. So it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do. But this is a great day for Dolphins fans. And I think the way the franchise has turned around in the past 3 years, even with this Brian Flores nonsense, but I think that comes from ownership. I think Stephen Ross is one of the worst owners in professional sports. But in terms of an on-the-field product, the Dolphins haven't been this hot in 2 decades. So we'll have to see if they can follow through and compete this season. But other than that, thank you guys for watching my video today. This NFL offseason has been absolutely crazy. So stay tuned for more videos because I don't know if this is even close to being done. Like I was saying, Chiefs, Packers might have some moves. Plenty of other teams could have some moves. So we'll have to see what happens. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And other than that, have a great rest of your day.